Yip yo, hip ho. Yeah. I need a pee. I do. I need a pee. I need a P bass. I need a 1951 P bass. Let's go and get it right now. Hey folks, great to be back again. Welcome to another Luthiers Lair Live. This episode is going to be fantastic. It really is, and it deserves more than a golf clap. Yeah. I have something very exciting to show you near the end of the stream. It's exciting to me anyway, you know. It's exciting to me. Yeah, and oh my God, the last 2 weeks have been really crazy. I've had a lot of busy work to do, you know, business taxes, stuff like that, you know, real crazy stuff. But I hope you can stick around for the next hour or so, and we're going to have fun-filled goodies today. We're going to be looking at bass manufacturing for real and trying to get as close as we possibly can to the bass guitar that started it all. Started it all. Yes, indeed. Hi, Phil. Great to see you here, my friend. Phil from France. Thank you for joining me. He is a big-time P-bass aficionado. Applause for Phil, please. More than that, please. Thanks for joining me, Phil. Yeah, you're the first one here. Yes. Hopefully the first of many. But anyway, if you enjoy the content that I am producing here and you find it of value, I would strongly suggest that you do this unprofessional thing that I'm about to do. And subscribe to the YouTube channel. The link is right there. And notice that I just pointed like that because I always try to put my finger on exactly on it. And it never works. Yes. And that's fun. Yeah. So hit the subscribe. Give me a thumbs up. Ring that bell for notifications. Oh, sorry, lunch. Of, you know, any uploads that I would do. And let's have some fun. Okay, today I promise you some treats. First off, I think where we left off in the last live stream was the body carve and body shaping of the 1951 Fender P-Bass Project Challenge Project Challenge 51 1951 P-Bass Project Challenge Bass. I'm not going to call it that, don't worry, you know. I'm going to call it something shorter than that, like P. The next step was carving the neck and getting the neck correct. The neck has 20 frets in it. It has a U-shape profile. A U-shape profile. That's my attempt at ASMR, but I'll stop there. Yeah, U-shape profile, not a C-shape, like a jazz bass would have or something like that. This bass has a U-shape profile. So, okay, I got to cut that, I carved that out. I did not film that. I have plenty of other videos on YouTube, which I'll list in the description section after the live broadcast for you to go and watch. But what I'm going to show you is how I actually finish the neck on this to give it a nice antique look, kind of worn, kind of, you know, kind of old looking, antique looking neck. The U-shaped profile is not for everyone, of course, you know, and Leo Fender did improve his neck profiling and stuff like that with constant feedback from players. So he was always listening to people out there who were players, who were professionals at playing bass guitar, and that's where he came into his own. That's perfect. But I want to show you a little clip from the workshop. And it's about how I finish these types of necks. Sometimes I put a poly on and scuff it down so it's smooth, but it's always got to be smooth. Excuse me. When you're playing any guitar, any stringed instrument like that, you want to be sure that your hands are moving freely. And the last thing you need is a piece of plastic sprayed onto the back of the neck. You get squeaky, 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 squeaky all the time. Squeaky, squeaky, squeaky. You know, it just doesn't work, you know. So, here's how I do it. And let's have a look at this first clip, shall we? Yeah, folks. So, excuse me. We're on to finishing the neck here of the 1951 P-Bass build. I'll just show you the front of this. I just unmasked it because just interrupting here. Hi David. Cheers man. To dry and then wet sanded it. I'll go through that process in a minute. As you can see, it's a beautiful neck. I still have to dress and crown the frets. They were pressed in. Then I masked off the fingerboard and I gave 2 coats on the headstock and the back of the neck and the heel, of course, of this stuff, boiled linseed oil. Fantastic product. Don't get the real linseed oil because it never dries, ever, you know. I've seen pieces of wood take years and they're still tacky. Get the boiled linseed oil. When you boil linseed oil, it takes it to the point of polymerization, which is beginning to dry, and then they back off and they package it. So you just need a little dab of that on a lint-free rag, and you wipe the neck down there, the surface of the neck down, and then you leave it for like a couple of days. And this has 2 coats on it. Then what I did after that was I got some mineral spirits in here and some 1500 grit sandpaper. And what I did was I wet sanded with mineral spirits, you know, that had gloves on, of course, and just wet sand this all down, rub it right down, and you get this beautiful antique looking satin sheen. Oops. I should put this tape away, but yeah. Beautiful satin sheen you get on this. And of course, I'm not finishing this with a polyurethane or a paint or anything like that. That's certainly a preference, that's certainly something you can do. But to me, when you play a neck, you want it to be really fast. And this is just butter smooth. I mean, it's absolutely beautiful. It brings out the nice antique look in the grain of the maple there. It's just fantastic. And of course I have a bigger dip in my headstock so that Fender don't kick my ass. So that's how that is finished. Very simple process. It's not like spraying or anything. See, with the neck, it's the body of a bass you really want it to be resilient, so I'm going to be using like an acrylic type 2X spray paint on the body, just a Rust-Oleum basically. I get good results with this. This Rust-Oleum, of course it's the blonde colour of the original 51p base. And yeah, I mean, as you can see here, God's sake, frickin' tape. This is just, I mean, I wish you could just feel this. It's such a smooth surface. And of course, the linseed oil going into the wood seals it completely, which is fantastic. I'm feeling a little bit roughness here, even after 1500. That's grain standing up, so I'm going to buff that down again and give that another coat of linseed oil. Wait a couple of days and do the same thing, just to make sure everything's sealed. You know, I have the black dot inlay markers on this neck, as is the want of a 1951p base, and of course standard width, everything. So we've got a really good finish on this. I'm very happy with it. It's fantastic. That's almost ready to go. Just need to be dressing and crowning the frets. Then I'll let it sit for maybe a week before final fit on the body, which will probably take a week or two, depending on the weather. I spray outside because I'm going to use a 2K catalyzed polyurethane for the body, which is like death in a can. So you have to suit up, you have to wear a respirator and stuff like that. So yeah, that's where I'm at right now, and let's keep going. Yes, indeed. That was a very interesting experience, because the maple I had bought was extremely strong grain-wise, so the carving was particularly hard in that. However, it managed to come to fruition, and I was fairly happy with the overall shape, the overall profile, which is the U-shaped profile of the original 1951p base. Oh, itchy arm, sorry. Don't you hate that? You know, actually, it's even worse when you live in a stupid, humid climate like Florida. You know, never mind. Anyway, good to see David here again. Thank you very much, Mr. Milne. Glad that you have joined us. Love your company as always, my friend. So the next step in this, I'm pushing along here because I've got a lot to show and a lot of goodies coming up. Yeah, including comparisons and stuff like that. That's going to be towards the end of the stream. But yeah, excuse me. Yeah, the next thing that had to be done was with the neck. You know, you press these frets in and then you snip them along the fingerboard, right? You can't just leave them like that because people will rip their hands off. No matter how smooth the back of the neck is, all right? People are going to rip their hands off when they play it. So the next step is to get those frets angled on each side of the neck to about 35 degrees. I always aim for about 35 degrees. It seems to be good. 45 is too steep. You'll come into the playing area if you do that. If you have your string separation correct, you will come into the playing area if you and the neck width, of course, if you put too much of an angle on that. And you know what you do is you bevel out an angle on the edge of the fretboard. So how do you do that without actually ruining the fretboard itself, the wood? Well, I'll show you. You want to see? Do you want to see? Any comments so far? I have nothing better to do. Thanks very much, David. I'm so happy. Yes, so I'm going to show you how to, sorry, yeah, I'm going to show you how to bevel the fretboard. The fretboard. Okay, here it comes. Okay, now it's time to kind of bevel the edges of the frets on the fingerboard here. Just my little handy dandy brush. By the way, David, hope you're having a great Saturday night, man. Yeah, we don't want a new owner of this P-bass to pick it up and tear chunks of skin off when he plays this guitar. As you can see, I'm like halfway to beveling the frets on this now. By the way, Pat, I'm not that big. In a minute. I used to do this job as this simple Delrin plastic block that I made with set screws in it, one for straight edge, one for beveled edge. This angle is around about 35 degrees. And the file cuts in one direction. So I just place it on there, and as you can see, the file travels along the edge of the fingerboard at that angle and gently cuts that angle in. You don't need much pressure with this at all. Always go with the way the file cuts. I just know the file cuts in this direction. You can actually feel it. You know, that's what to do. Go that way. Actually, it's that way. I should have put the arrow. Yes, let me cutting. I'll just quickly mark it with a pencil, and then I'll do that later. It's that way. That's the way it cuts. Sorry about that, folks. So you're placing it, and make sure this is level. Remember, this is radius to 9.5 inches on this particular P-bass. So what I need to do is try and keep this level, flat on the fingerboard all the way through the stroke. And don't use too much pressure. Don't need much pressure at all. And you just spend a few minutes doing this. As you can see, some metal dust coming off now. Sure to clean that up. It doesn't matter if, you know, I finished the neck, the back of the neck first. I've still to do the fingerboard finish, which will also be boiled linseed oil. But you can finish the base, the neck after or whatever. Now, when you're cutting, okay, you're going to get burrs on the opposite side, actually in the direction of your cut. So if you're doing that, this side of the fret is going to be smooth, but this is going to have a little burr on it. And what we'll do is we'll take, I have a set of very fine files here, and we'll take, these files have safe edges on them, and we're going to take that and we're going to dress. We're just going to knock off the burrs on the end of the frets just by rounding it off. If you don't feel safe with using a file freehand like that and want to protect the wood, or know that you're starting to go into the wood, just use a bit of tape, painter's tape or something like this, put it on that side, and then when you do that and you see this top of the tape scuffing, you know that you're at the right height. If you dig through the tape, move the tape. Okay, so all you're doing is rounding off that burr that you're going to get there. Move that tape up a little bit more. That's all you're doing, is rounding off the burr and taking that burr off. So that's the way we're cutting that way. Of course, when we turn this around, the cutting direction is the opposite direction. We
do that. Light pressure to get it going so that all the frets become even. Then you can apply a little bit more pressure and get that fret.
Booyah!
Get those frets nicely beveled. For playability. See, it does not take any pressure at all. Now, the frets are going to need, probably going to need recrowned and dressed, and I don't do that till the very end. Because if I go ahead and do it now, and there's some sort of geometric shift in the shape of the wood, hasn't settled yet, something like that, and I go and assemble it, chances are I'm going to get high spots on the frets or dead spots, and I'll have to do the whole job again. So I don't do that until the guitar is actually on its initial assembly. Then that job gets done. But now we're going to go ahead and finish this beveling job and dressing, just dress the ends of the frets, and then we'll smear some boiled linseed oil on the fingerboard there, and we'll set that aside to cure for a week. And
Yes, that's how it happens. It really does. It happens that way, and it's happened that way since, I don't know. Don't know. Well, what time is it, and where's the comments? Yes. Yeah, David said, sorry, I just heard, hello David, I hope, and then his battery died. Well, I hope you don't have a pacemaker, David. But you're still here. Yeah, I know what you're saying. I was just saying, hi, how's it going? You know, good to have you with me and stuff. That's what I was saying. I really was. I'm being pretty honest about that. Anyway. Yeah, it's pushing on to about nearly the hour here. And at the top of the hour, we have an adventure coming up. And I don't know if you know what that is alluding to. Yeah, but this one's pretty special. However, I do want to show you the next process I did in this bass, and it was wet sanding. Wet sanding. Yeah, it was step 4 in this rundown I've got in front of my face that nobody else can see, and I'm trying to read, and that's why I've got these shades on, but you can still see where my eyes are going and everything, so it's pathetic, isn't it? It's pathetic. Yeah, so much for a one-man production engineer, key grip and all that crap, you know, that we do in movies. But anyway, I want to show you what I did after I... Actually, I want to show you the spraying first. Let's take a little musical break before Angus gets a grip on us. Right? Do you want to do that? You want to do that? Yeah, I'm going to show you how I sprayed this. I do have a spraying jig. I have 2 spraying jigs, and they're both situated outside because the stuff I use is like death in a can. You know, you can't be too careful. So I do spray outside. I wait till the humidity drops, which is very unusual for Florida, but we have a pattern of weather right now that I can deal with, and it gets below, if it gets below like 60% humidity, I can spray. I can start doing colour. I'd already primed the body. I think I showed that in the last live stream. I'm not sure. Yeah, I think I did. Anyway, here's the very first light colour coat that I put on the thingy, the bass. Do you want to see? Musical interlude. Okay. myself if the mic was on. Yes, indeed. That's just the spraying. That's a jig I set up with a table with a hole through it and weights in the bottom. And I use a PVC pipe for flexibility so I can bend stuff. I do have a more robust solution. That's more for bodies that dictate that sort of shape when you're spraying, because it's very hard to get into the horn angles and stuff to spray the paint. So that's the reasoning behind that. It might be doolally, or it might make sense. It makes sense to me, and that's why I do it. So that's the spraying. Okay, that was just the first coat. I put 3 coats of colour on the base, and then I waited 10 minutes, only 10 minutes. In this heat, you wait 10 minutes before each coat. So the whole colour coat only took about 35 minutes. 35 minutes? 35 minutes to do. Thanks, Paul Whitehouse. For 5 years? For 5 years? So, that's how long it took. And you thought I'd lost touch of the UK, everyone. Yeah, no, I watch all that shit all the time. Comedy over here is garbage. I'm not joking. It's actually pretty good. It's pretty good. I love it. I really do. So that all went on. And right after that, I clear coated it with a 2K. 2K is different from 2X. The 2X means double coverage. 2K means that there is a catalyzer inside the product that will make it cure quicker. I was going to say dry. Lacquer dries. Polyurethane cures. Polyurethane's a plastic. It's plastic. Most bass guitars and most, actually, all guitars nowadays get finished with the catalyzed polyurethane. It's much harder. It's much more resilient, but it is very temperamental. You have to follow the right procedures to put it on. Otherwise, it peels off like Patrick Duffy's webbed feet. Don't know if anyone got that reference, but, I'm going to look at the chat now before something else really weird happens. Yeah, Pat, you didn't paint the windows at the same time, did you? Yeah, now I've got a constant, yellow haze when I look out the window. No. It actually doesn't happen that way. I think it's the camera angle. I was appreciable. I did pee. Wait a minute. Set. Appreciable distance away from the windows, and the wind in the alcove that I spray naturally funnels round the building and goes towards the pool. So anyone swimming in the pool is gonna look like they've got jaundice, Yeah, that's fantastic. Yes, that's right, Pat. Yeah. Plastic coat. Yeah, David. David said, you said plastic coat. Yeah, no. Look for something called Spraymax 2K polyurethane. It's an auto finish. It's automobile finish. It actually hardens to the touch within 1 hour, but you should leave it a week before wet sanding, and I'll show you that next. Actually, I can't show you that next. The man from Atlantis. Yeah, I can't show you that next because something really weird happened to me the other week, I got a letter. A letter? A letter. God, I sound Scottish as fuck. I got a letter from a crap luthier and bass player that I know. And he told me he had made, well, judge for yourself, as we delve into tales of the really weird. Angus Torag, luthier and crap bass player, had always been a bit of an oddball. It was the perfect way to get back at the man of steel, thought Angus, for always being superpowered and perfect. With his latest bass guitar, Angus would be able to summon a Superman that was much weaker and more vulnerable. Angus had put everything he had into this bass guitar emotionally, and it was finally finished. Angus couldn't wait to test out his new bass guitar. He went to an abandoned warehouse where he knew Superman would be patrolling. He started playing the bass guitar and, sure enough, Superman appeared. But something was wrong. Superman looked very weak and very feeble. The bass guitar had inadvertently summoned a Superman that was about to die. Superman had been seriously injured and was on the verge of death. Angus had summoned a dying Superman to this location, and there was nothing he could do to save him. Superman died, and Angus knew it was all his fault. Angus Torag became the first man that created a bass guitar to kill Superman with. It was the ultimate act of revenge for Superman being so perfect, but it came at a terrible price. What are we going to do about this guy, man? I mean, there's nobody to protect us now. We're all doomed. We're all doomed. He freaking killed Superman. And his bass wasn't even made of kryptonite, but the sound he made from his bass was kryptonite. It was kryptonite. It really was. Anyway. Let's take some questions, shall we? Plastic code. No. I don't know if you get it in the UK, David. It's a paint called Rust-Oleum. I don't know if it's prominent in the UK. I haven't been back for so long. They're very cheap, but they're excellent products. And the nozzle you got in the spray can is very even, and you can even replace it with like a fan, like you would get with a gun. I have a compressor and spray guns and stuff, but I do like to show people how you can, get a reasonable finish on a guitar with just, regular spray cans. If you take the time and effort to produce it properly. You got to shake the can for 2 minutes, at least 2 minutes. Spray it upside down, get all the gases out and stuff. Clear the nozzle and then go for it. And you got to make sure the air is perfectly still as well. And you don't want sputtering, be careful not to put your finger over the top of the spray can, because if you do that you get it spits all over the place, and you have to start again. Yes. Yeah, so that's how that works. Oh, the body colour. No, it's called Sun Yellow. It was the closest I could get to the blonde, the Fender blonde, without paying out of my arse for a real Fender colour. Stuart MacDonald, stumac.com. I think they actually sell the nitrocellulose lacquer colour, but it's not cheap. It's not cheap. Very expensive. So I did go with a brighter colour than I should have done. I happen to like it better, because now my bass looks like a bumblebee. And I'll show you that in a little bit. That's another treat I've got coming up. Yeah. Phil says, get your feet back on the ground. Yeah, I'm all for that. And I'm also all for, oh yeah, you're talking about the video. Yeah. Yeah. Angus likes to float. He's a terrible person. He really is. But he's such a lovable guy. You know, buy him a steak dinner. He needs it. Yeah. And, yeah. So, next step. What was the next step? Are we going to wet sand? I don't know. I don't know if I've got enough time to go through all this. I might follow this on to next week. Will I? I've got enough time. What have I got? I've got 22 minutes here, so that's cool. I want to demo some stuff, and yeah. So we'll get on with the next step, which was wet sanding. Let's have a look at wet sanding, shall we? That's on the body, not my body. I wish.
So here we are with the 1951 P-Bass project. We're at the stage now where the clear coat has cured enough. It's been a week, and for a 2K clear coat that's ample time for curing, that we can now go and level sand this. I'm going to start with 1500 grit wet sanding. Wet sanding with mineral spirits as the solution that I'm going to be using for the wet part of the sanding.
By the way, sexy gloves, huh?
The reason I use mineral spirits is I get much less chance of wood swelling up if there's patches of wood like going into holes and stuff. It evaporates very quickly. If I was using water with, you know, a little bit of dishwasher detergent for lubrication, chances are I would maybe get some swelling if water went astray, and it would lift the clear coat. That's happened before. In some of my earlier builds, that happens, and then once you do that, you strip the body down and start again, basically. That's what you do. So you don't, as Harry Enfield would say, you don't want to do that. So, from there, what we do is I'm going to start at 1500. I might have to go down to like 1000, I'm not sure yet. But I'm going to 1500, get my little pencil eraser block, and I'm going to do a small patch about here to see what I need to do. I'm just going to make a little circle. This is a little test patch that I'm doing. I usually count the amount of swirls I'm putting in. That's how anal I get about this. So there's no colour coming through there, so I'm not burning through at all with 1500. I think it's going to be okay. I'm going to give that about 100 swirls and then see where I am from there. Okay, put that back in there. Shop towel. That's actually come up quite good. I'm going over the belly carve there. I mean the comfort carve. I don't want to go right over that. That looks to be good. So I'm going to go and do the whole body with 1500 first. Then I'll move to maybe 2000 or 3000. Then all the way up to 5000. This wet sanding part takes a long time. Sanding, if you want to do it carefully and properly, takes a long time to do.
It does indeed. You have to have real patience to flat sand the bass guitar up to the prerequisite grit, which is usually about 3000 or 5000 grit. It depends on the polishing compound you use. I'm going to get right on to the polishing compound and then I'm going to shield the bass and fit the electronics and get a heartbeat out of it. No, I really am. I'm going to make its heart beat. Yeah. I don't know if I've got enough time to cram all this in, so I might actually skip a step. I'm going to explain the next step so that we're not effing around here, you know. What I did after that was, on the whole finish, I polished it, and I thought, well, look, it looks like a new bass. It's not meant to be a new bass. It's meant to be a 1951 Precision bass, okay? So I stressed the finish. Now, what I did purposefully was when I grain filled it, before putting on a primer and then the colour coat, then the clear coat, I left little pieces of the grain not level with the body, so that when I sprayed, it would sink in and you'd see a ripple effect through the body, so that it looked like the wood is stressed, as woodpecker after about 70 years or so. So that's what it kind of looks like. So maybe I should go right onto the shielding and the installation of the electronics. What do you think about that? I know there's a delay in comments, but if you would like to skip the boredom of me shielding cavities, which we all often do at airports, then I'll go right on to fitting the electronics, and then I'm going to show you a little treat. What do you think about that? Is that okay? You think that's okay? I think it's okay too. I really think I should do that. So I'm going to go on to the fitting the electronics and be very surprised. Very simple. Let's have a look, shall we? Or actually, David says, cheers for the info, Gary. Wife arrived with fish supper, so I'm off ski. Oh God, fish supper, man. You know, David, if you're watching this after the fact, I know you're enjoying your fish supper. My God. Then there's an Irish pub about a mile away from me here in Delray Beach, Florida, that sells probably the best approximation of a fish supper that I've ever had. So, yes. Anyway, let's get on with fitting the electronics on this P-Bass, shall we? Shall we? Let's go.
Yes, so as one can see, I have hooked up the electronics. Very simple in a P-Bass. Got a tone control with a 0.47 microfarad capacitor on there for the filtering of the tone, and already got the wires tinned and ready for soldering there, or soldering, with heat shrink on it. As you can see, pickup is now fitted and looking splendiferous, and of course we'll have the cover on that and a little bit of dust. So what I'm going to do is put these really fine automotive polishing cloths over the top of the base here, just for protection, as I go to plunge the soldering iron into action. So let's get these soldered up. Okay, just using regular flux solder here. Take the bobble off of that. And here we go. Piece of solder on there. And done. Piece of solder on there. Done. And same thing. We're done. Okay. Always in the tip. Put it back. And now I'm going to switch soldering iron off. And we're ready for the heat gun. Now, I don't want to burn the crap out of my cloths here. So what I usually do is I get a really old cloth, which I'll go and do now. Right back. Really crappy one there, and I'll take that out of the way. This in its place. Bring that right over there, and yeah, it's going to be, yeah, okay. And we'll pull up the heat shrink here. You can see all this. I didn't really check the shot. I'm such an arsehole sometimes. Okay, and there and up here, ploppity poop poop, and this one, poopity plop plop. And like a tool, put too much solder dod on that. Yeah. Let me have a look at that under the magnifier. Hopefully that's enough. Get that over there. There we go. There we go. Okay, heat gun time. It's heat gun time. Oh yeah, I'm going to burn the shit out of the cloth. That's fine. Light this heat up a little bit. We're done.
That's the electronics hooked up. It's fantastic. It's good. Oh yeah, funky time, Phil. Yeah. Totally agree. Won't you take me to Funky Town? Yes. So yeah. The next thing to do then is to plug it in. And I've got 10 minutes left. So I'm going to be able to show you the heartbeat, and I'm going to be able to show you some goodies. Yes. 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 Bet you hate that, don't you? I mean, anyway. Yeah. I'm going to show you the heartbeat of the bass when it was born, as I gave birth to it. Not in the usual way, of course. That would have caused too much pain. But yeah, let's have a look at the birth of the bass, and let's have a look at something else right after it that will intrigue you. All you bass aficionados out there will really appreciate. I hope you appreciate anyway. Let's have a look at the birth of the 1951 Fender Precision bass.
Oh, here we go. Here's the moment of truth then, after doing that soldering. And then that's good playing that pickup. And fitting the electronics. Very simple on a P bass. Hopefully this works. Look at all those smudges already. I even got the authentic knobs there, like Telecaster looking stuff. Let's take this and plug it in to the crap bass amp. I'm just going to hold that there. See, I haven't mounted this yet. I never mount this until I'm verified that everything's working. Stress relief is okay in there because there's a clamp there. Switch on the amp. The amp is on. Okay, tone and volume up. Take something ferrous and tap on the pickup. It's alive! Moment of truth. I always do that when I give birth to a bass. It is now officially kind of born. It works really well. Let's just turn down the volume on it. Good. Volume all the way up. Tone down. Oh yeah. Like that. Man, this pickup has some output on it. There we go. Now the next part, of course, is of the. There's no noise either. It's frickin' noiseless. So these pickups have come a long way. I do have a genuine Fender part here. Genuine Fender part. And where does this go, you might ask? Well, you could ask, and I will show you. 2 screws there, that's fantastic. That goes here. Like that. So, like that. That's where that goes. Ooh, it's beginning to look a lot like P bass. Vintage P bass, of course. So, with the bridge wire now, I'm going to take this piece of painter's tape off, put a piece of copper tape down so that the stripped wire can lie on that, and then the bridge goes on top of that, so it's got contact all the way through. Of course, with the shielding, the pickup cavity I shielded and I connected it to the control cavity ground as well, so everything's grounded. That's why you're not getting any noise at all. And I think these pickups have got a lot to do with it. Seymour Duncan, fantastic company. I am an affiliate of theirs, so if you click any of my affiliate links that I post regularly, you know, it helps me out. It helps me out with the channel, helps me out with the business, helps me keep producing this, well, what could you say, foray into the unknown. This is lovely distressed finish there. It's got like Vaseline on it and stuff from and stuff like that. It's working. It's a working bass. Let's push on.
Fantastic. Actually, I need to show you something now. Here's the pièce de résistance. Here is a generation, or 2 generations, of basses that I would like to just wheel aside now. You probably won't be able to hear me, thank God, right? And you'll see the difference between a modern P bass and the 1951 P bass. Hold on. And that one in the middle is a Fender jazz bass built to 1968 specifications. It's semi-hollow as well. And big shout out to Laurent Quintana. Yep. He helped me design that bass. Now that's nearly all for today. And that was a big treat, wasn't it? Oh, I liked that. Just to see the differences. And you can still frame that as you're watching. Isn't that fun? Yeah. Phil, totally agree. Seymour Duncan, the actual original P-Bass pickup, Seymour Duncan still make. I do have an affiliate link in the description for this video. And, you know, if you buy something from him, it helps me out. It's really cool. It's cool. But for now, I'd like to show you what a modern P-Bass can do. And of course the old one, the original one, can do this too. And it's something I think a lot of people have been having problems with. Now, if you do have problems with your bass guitar and you want to go to the next level, I strongly suggest you contact a man called Scott Whitley. Yeah. I'm going to be posting links to Scott's website, and Scott's actually currently working on a fantastic slap course. I believe it's going to be fantastic. And I'm actually going to buy it because you can never have too much knowledge. You can never have too much knowledge. The more knowledge you have, the more armed you are to be able to do your job. So, I strongly suggest you hop along his website when I put that in the description section after the live stream. And please come back, visit, watch the stream again in rerun. And all you guys who are watching on rerun, thank you very much for watching. I mean, it's such fun to sort of broadcast this knowledge live to people. You know, it's like, it's the best. It's great fun. But I want to show you now what a modern P-Bass is capable of. Does anyone recognise that? You recognise it now? My name is Gaz. I'm going to do a little trick. I'm going to play my bass without using a pick. You know, that sort of stuff. This is just a quick rundown of how to play the first part of Me and My Bass Guitar by Victor Wooten. Yes. Yes. And I'm telling you, if you want more in-depth coverage of this, go to Scott Whitley. Scott Whitley Bass Lessons. Type that in Google. You get all Scott's stuff. His latest stuff. I'm waiting on him getting back to me with solid links that I know he can respond to in this day and age. Yes, in this day and age. So, here's a quick rundown, okay? E string, 7th fret. So, boom. Don't pluck it, hammer it. D string, 6th fret. D string, 7th fret. A string, 7th fret. E string, 5th fret. E string, 6th fret. E string, 7th fret. That's all you need to know. So you just need to practice doing this. I think there's a little inset up there in the top corner there. You can see my fret hand closer. course, I'm accentuating that. Next step. What's the next step? Well, the next step is to go and then use the heel of your playing hand, because you might be right-handed or left-handed. So I'm going to use the terminology fret hand and heel or playing hand. Okay, so mute it so you make a noise on the pickups, and then pluck your index finger on your playing hand on the G string. Now, if you notice, the G string is getting muted by the index finger on my fret hand. You see that? You see it? See that? So. And just get used to that particular motion. And then you go back to, you start again. You start again. And you go back to well, I screwed that up, didn't I? Okay. So all it is using your playing hand for rhythm and your fret hand for notes. It's like tapping, but, and then we'll show you the That's all it is. That's all it is. Yeah, that was just a quick breakdown. So I'm going to just go through arbitrary speeds of the first shot of that, and then maybe in the next live stream we'll do the whole thing, So. See, you can play arbitrarily fast, but you can't go too fast that it doesn't make any sense. So at that speed it doesn't make any sense, but at this speed it makes some sense. Yeah, just a little tip before I go. Oh my God, I've overrun by 5 minutes. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's live stream. I'm just going to take a quick look at the chat here. Thanks, Phil. Funky, good time. Oh, totally. And, as you progress, I mean, this might be to some people, this might be a beginner's lesson, but it is rather complex. You can leave that open if you like, or you can mute, as you can see there, with a harmonic. And I'm using like this part of my finger to mute the G. So. And almost getting a note, so it sounds really dynamic and fluid. And with that, people, thank you very much once again for joining me. And yeah, the rule of tapping. The rule of tapping, Phil, yeah. There. The rule of tapping. Once again, thank you very much for joining me today live. And if you didn't catch this live, be sure to watch the rerun. And as always, if I can do this, subscribe, give me a thumbs up, ring the bell, so you get notified of any uploads that I'm doing. And again, thank you very much everyone for joining me live today. And all it remains for me to say, stay safe, be good, and I will catch you next time. Thank you very much. God bless you all. Thank you. Bye-bye.